Hey everyone, Jesse here, and today I want to talk to you about the recent Nintendo NX rumors. Now, by this time I'm sure you've all seen the images that have leaked. There was a white controller gamepad thing that had the screen on it, matched the documents Nintendo patented almost perfectly. And the one thing that threw people off about it was, on the image, it was running a tech demo of Unreal Engine 4. A lot of people were saying, if this is a real NX, why is it not running something like an actual game? Why is it just running a tech demo? If this is a dev kit, why aren't they working on a game and showing that off in the image instead of just running a basic tech demo? Which does make sense, but then a couple of days later there was more images leaked, this time from different angles and a much clearer picture. It was turned off though, nothing was on it. But one thing to solidify that they are real is that the second set of images, in the side of the picture you can see a little tree and then the keyboard and everything, and this all matches up with the building that Ubisoft works at. And then some people were saying that yes, the image did come from someone working at Ubisoft. And it kind of makes sense, since Ubisoft is one of the biggest game developers, publishers, or whatever, that they would be working on the NX and they would have their own dev kit and everything. But that's still up for debate. You can look at the images and decide for yourself. So now let's move on to more of the rant and my thoughts on this. And remember to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. A lot of people were saying, is this the actual NX? Is it a fake? Or is this just the controller for the NX? Because there was rumors earlier this year saying that the handheld portion of the NX would be released at the end of this year, with the home console version releasing early next year. And this sort of goes along with another rumor that Nintendo is going to stop production of the Wii U. That would make sense, because if they're replacing their Wii U with the NX, it wouldn't make sense to have both in manufacturing at the same time, especially when the Wii U's not really selling, and as soon as they release their next console, it's really not going to sell. Instead of dumping $300 or $350 on a Wii U, you would just put that money towards the NX, whatever that may be, since it will be the newer video game console. And another thing to coincide with this is, if you look at the past Nintendo consoles, the lifespan of the consoles, or at least the home consoles, have gotten shorter and shorter. I believe the NES was in production for about 7 years, the Super Nintendo was in production for 6, the Nintendo 64 was in production for 5, and then the GameCube, the Wii, it all got shorter and shorter aside for the Wii, and now the Wii U falls in with that line, with production time getting shorter because it's only been 4 or 5 years. And let's not forget that a lot of people were saying, well, the NX isn't replacing the Wii U, it's just going to be on sale alongside it, which is true, it's going to be on sale alongside it. They're not going to stop supporting the Wii U just because the NX is out. But remember, they said the same thing about it being a third tier alongside the 3DS and the Wii U with the Game Boy Advance whenever they released the DS. They said, no, the Nintendo DS, that's not replacing our Game Boy line. That's not the successor for the Game Boy Advance, when it clearly was. And the Game Boy Advance had only been out for like 3, maybe 4 years at the most, which is shorter than how long the Wii U's been out. And the Game Boy Advance actually sold really well. The whole Game Boy line, that was Nintendo's foundation for a long time, whenever they were first getting into the mobile market. So for them to kind of put their marketing terms on it and say this is the third tier, when actually it's not, it's meant to be a successor, because if we look back again at the DS, you could play your Game Boy Advanced games on your DS. If that's not a successor to a console, then I don't know what would be. So with the NX, what I think is they're just using that third tier platform as marketing terms, because they don't want to make all the people that have purchased the Wii U mad. So they're saying, no, it's not going to replace it, we're still going to support it. Which doesn't technically mean it's not going to replace it, because the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One's out right now, and you can still go and buy 360 and PlayStation 3 games that are still new. So that part doesn't really back up what they're saying about it being a third tier. Now, the thing is, what does this mean? The NX. If it's there, it doesn't have the buttons. How are you going to play like Smash Brothers or Zelda or something on a controller that has no buttons? And then if the whole controller is the screen like it's showing, like your hand's going to be covering up most of the image. What's the point of having the image cover the whole screen if it's going to be covered by your own hands? What if there's an enemy, or if you're playing a puzzle game, an important item or something like that your hand's just blocking? It doesn't really make sense. And then our games, if it connects to the home console and it shows the TV, is like a smaller rectangle image on the screen going to be what you see on the screen? Or is it going to take the full image and then just like cookie cut out the shape of the gamepad for what would actually be on the screen? So instead of getting, like on the screen you see the big 16:9 image, but on the gamepad it would be that 16:9 image, but just cookie cut it out so you wouldn't see the edges of it. This doesn't make sense. Why would Nintendo do this? Like, they released the Wii U, they say, oh, the Wii U sold horribly. The Wii sold awesome, even though it had its gimmicks, but the Wii U sold poorly. Like, their worst selling console ever aside from the Virtual Boy. And one of the things that people didn't like about it was that instead of putting extra money into making it more powerful and giving it an actual controller, they released that big clunky gamepad that had a screen on it that looked like a Fisher-Price kid's toy or something. Which, I love the Wii U and I love the games on it and everything, but the design could have just been a lot better. And then the screen on it was in 480p and it just had all kinds of problems. And my point is, they released a console that's their worst selling console ever, and the controller has a screen on it. So what do they do to follow it up? They release another console that has a controller that's not even a normal shaped screen covering the whole controller. Oh my gosh, it doesn't make sense. And then they take away the buttons? The buttons! How are you going to play Super Smash Brothers or Mario Kart or something? Are the buttons just going to, even if it does have the tactile feedback where if you press it it'll rumble in that specific area? Oh my gosh. What are they thinking? I don't... It seems that after the GameCube, they've took their innovation thing to a completely new, completely wrong level. They had the DS and 3DS, which are fine. You can experiment with them. It's okay. They have two screens, touchscreen, whatever. It's handheld devices. It kind of makes sense. You can fold it so it doesn't take up that much space. But you give us the Wii that doesn't have normal controllers. Third party doesn't make games for it because they have to downgrade the games that they're making for PlayStation 3 and 360. And then you come out with the Wii U that gets no support at all. You get a few games at launch, but then nothing else at all. And then you come out with something even more ridiculous. Alright everybody, thanks for watching this little rant thing, but let me know what you think about the Nintendo NX. Do you think it should be this home console? Do you think this is just going to be the portable side of it? Do you think this is just going to be one SKU? Do you think it's completely fake? Let me know. How do you think it's going to interact with the actual home console version? Let me know in the comments below, and click over here for my last video. Click over here to help support this channel, and click up here for a surprise. Thank you for watching.